All right, this is David O. Thank you for joining me today on In the Know with David O. A little bit of a change up in our introduction, throwing me off a little bit, but I hope nothing is throwing you off. It is a beautiful Tuesday afternoon. Before I start, let me thank, of course, our show sponsor, Weinerman Pain and Wellness. They're located at the Land Title Building, 100 South Broad Street, Suite 1800. Of course, if you are injured and you need some professional help, helping you get back to the full person that you are, well, check them out. I certainly have, and of course, I thank them for sponsoring this show. We have got a great lineup for you today. I say that every week, and I'm so proud to say it. First, we're going to be talking to Brianna Wronko. She is the founder and CEO of Group K Diagnostics, which is basically in the biotech field. What's surprising about her is she is so young. Right out of college, she founded this company. I wonder why. We'll talk to her about that. And listen, she's got $500,000 in funding already. She's got employees. She is on her way to doing things. But, you know, every startup is a struggle. And so while she is doing great, we're going to talk about starting up a biotech in our kind of biotech-rich city here, our region, of course, in Philadelphia. Then we'll be talking to Gillie Da Kid. He is a hardcore rap artist, you know, the words and the wisdom and the beefs of the street, so to speak. But he's evolved. He's gone into movies now. He's doing other things. And we'll talk to him about what his art represents, why it is that way, and what it means to you and me. And then we have a wonderful story of life after 20. I don't mean 20 years old. I mean 20 years in jail. Wallow, 267, coming out of 20 years and basically taking Philly by storm, really inspiring people, motivating people to be positive and turn their lives around. He does that every day, and so far making quite a great impact. If you will remember, last week, and I hope you do, we were talking to our city controller, Rebecca Reinhardt. And she was talking to us about some items that have been in the news about the city of Philadelphia, not good things, $924 million accounting error, and other things like that, and what she's doing and others are doing to correct that. Very important for us to know. And we spoke to Jackie Fisher, executive producer, Take the Lead Dance Project. That is in 9 schools, bringing ballroom dance into our public schools. We certainly enjoyed talking with them, learned a lot, and you can hear that interview if you go to www.dbam.com. There, if you go to the programs, look up In the Know with David O, and you'll be able to catch our other shows as well on podcasts. Well, let me start by introducing you to our first guest, Brianna Wronko. As I said, she is the CEO and founder of Group K Diagnostics. Well, she got her BSE, or her bachelor's, from the University of Pennsylvania in bioengineering. And by training as a nanofabrication and device engineer, she has 7 years of research experience in microfluidics and immunology. And she has designed, and her company manufactures paper microfluidic devices. And she's going to tell us what all that means, because, you know, if you are wondering, yeah, you have reason to wonder, unless you're in this field. But she's completed 4 years in microfluidics research, and she has clinical experience in HIV care, which inspired her idea for her innovation. Her experience with the FDA governmental approval process from her time at 5-11 Pharma and GSK GlaxoSmithKline has been instrumental for streamlining the preclinical, clinical, and FDA process. Well, Brianna, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you very much. Let me ask you this. as we sit here right now, what's happening with your company, Group K Diagnostics?
Yeah, so we have a few really exciting things happening. We're about to start our first clinical trial that will kick off in about 2 weeks at Penn Medicine. That will be bringing our liver function testing to liver disease patients live very shortly. So we're really excited to not only be moving forward in the business, but also be moving forward in helping patients.
Wow. For our listeners, why is that important?
Yeah, so your liver function is actually more important than you think, not only for people who have actual liver diseases like Hep C or Hep B, but fatty liver disease is on the rise, and that's seen in a large percentage of Americans as obesity rises in the country. Mm-hmm. And also just for patients, from teenagers on acne medications to patients who are on HIV meds, we have to keep track of what their liver's doing because those drugs can be detrimental for your liver.
Right. Now, your innovation, your product, your invention, how does that help in this process?
Yeah, so when I worked at a local HIV clinic in Philadelphia called the LAX Clinic. I was a pre-med student and I was under the mentorship of Helen Koenig there. And the issue that we saw time and time again was that we'd prescribe to our patients that they go to LabCorp Request to get their blood work done. Mm-hmm. But even if you go right to the LabCorp, it takes 3 days more for us to get back results. And in that time period, you have issues of not only losing patients to follow-up, as well as some patients just never get their blood work done. And well, it affects their care.
Right. So basically what happens is if I go into one of these facilities, they take my blood, and then I leave. And they're going to do, do a test and figure out what it is. And then three days later, the results are in.
Exactly. And those 3 days later, we have to pick up the phone and call you or try and send you an email. And if you don't get that, you don't know what's going on with your health. So what our innovation does is in 20 minutes or less, we can give you results right on the spot in your doctor's office of how your liver's doing, and in the future how your kidneys are doing, and many more tests, so that you can know exactly what your health is and exactly what changes you need to make.
Because I'm sure there's many people, myself included, we go into the hospital, we get a blood test, and like a month later, I don't know what the results are or what they mean, but you're basically able to get the results right there in 20 minutes while the person is there.
Exactly. I'm guilty of that too, and if you give results to a patient right then and there, you can change their care right then and there.
Right. So instead of waiting 3 days, you can make adjustments based on the results. And so it really is very, surprising that, that we've become accustomed to, kind of like taking these blood tests and waiting a long time. And your innovation, was it hard to come up with? I mean, how do you get these results in 20 minutes?
Yeah, I spent a lot of time doing lab-on-a-chip work. So essentially, I would take a body organelle system, like your immune system, and shrink it down to fit on a chip that was 2 inches by 2 inches. So I've been thinking at very small scale for a very long time. And then using that background and using the overwhelming need I saw in the clinic, I saw some terrible cases that we could have changed. How do you have results the same day? And by using that and combining it together, it took us about 1.5 years to come up to the research. And it's taken us about 2.5 years to get to our first clinical trial.
Now, you didn't originally plan on starting your own business, did you?
I did not. I planned on going back to GSK, working there for a few years, and going to grad school. But I had an advisor from Harvard who was very, very clear on what I should do, and he said it would be ethically irresponsible for me not to continue to develop something that would help impact patients' care.
Wow.
And that stuck with me all this time.
Now, he must have been pretty impressed with your invention.
He is amazing. He's still on our advisory board to this day. He is an expert in the point-of-care field in pathology. Okay. Now, I have to throw this in because if people were sitting here where I am, they'd be looking at a very, very young person. And, that's really, I think, encouraging, to me as a father of 4 young kids, that someone as young as you could to not only come up with this innovation, but also get it funded. And so you were in college when you were doing all of this, and when you talked to your advisor at Harvard, he said you should, bring this innovation to the public, and right off the bat you got $250,000 in funding. I'd say I couldn't have done that without the help and support of my family and also of my advisors, not just the advisor from Harvard, but from Penn, from Dream It Health, and also my former professors. That support and those connections really brought me a long way, and my mom, kind of just taught me that you call people, and, you just tell your story. And
I understand Mom is listening.
Yes, Mom is listening.
Hi, Mom. Okay, from the CEO and founder of Group K Diagnostics. Thanks, Mom and Dad.
Yes.
Okay, don't forget Dad.
And my sister.
Oh, and
She's
your
also
sister.
listening.
Okay, fantastic. So now you have $500,000 in funding. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. We recently reopened our round and we raised a little bit more to get us to clinical trials, and we're very grateful for the investors that believed in us from day one and have really, really supported that.
So you graduated from University of Penn, really one of our top universities, with a full scholarship. You didn't grow up in a super wealthy, community or anything like that. Really was very fortunate. Homeschooled, I understand.
Yes, my mom taught me a lot of what I know, not only homeschooling me, but also she was an entrepreneur herself. And
Okay.
I think having those things and, learning the value of, just being really innovative and thinking things through and, looking for ways to help other people were part of my education. And that really helps me get to Penn and then, from Penn to launch a career in entrepreneurship.
Now you graduated Penn a bit early.
I did. I was 20 when I graduated.
Yeah, so we can calculate that you're not really much older than 20. And here you are, CEO of a biotech company, and you have how many employees in Philadelphia? 7? Or,
We have 7 employees in Philadelphia.
and
yes.
a total of 12, right?
Yes.
Okay. And now ready for more funding.
We are ready for more funding. We're currently raising our $3 million Series A, and that would be to fund our product commercialization and actually get it across the country and even, beyond that to clinics so that they can start impacting patient care.
Let me ask you this. I mean, did you always plan on being a scientist, going into the health field, or when did this happen?
I have always wanted to be a doctor, believe it or not. Since I was 2, I asked on my Christmas list that I get a doctor's kit. But when I was in high school, I learned about engineering. And engineering as a female 6 years ago was not the most popular field, but through encouragement, and also there's a group at Penn called Advancing Women in Engineering. Really took me under their wing even as a high schooler and started showing me what can be done with the STEM field. And I was really fascinated with engineering because not only can you build things and help people, but you can also be creative and think outside the box. And I can't imagine doing anything different. So I always meant to be an engineer and to do something in healthcare, but I didn't see myself being a CEO even had you asked me 3 years ago.
Okay. So as an engineer, you are building things in the health field, but not like buildings. You're building like solutions through technology, and in your field, little tiny things in liquid sometimes, right?
Yeah, so we do everything from, we have an entire software platform that helps doctors use our technology, so there's a lot of coding that goes into that and a lot of planning. But then our actual hardware device that we use, that you can see pictures of at our website, it's paper microfluidics. So to get into a little bit what that is, it's literally using paper and wax, really 2 common everyday things, to make a low-cost diagnostic tool that we can put reagents on and we can manipulate in different ways to be able to test for a lot of different diseases or metabolites or chemicals in your blood.
What's that website in case people want to check you out?
It's www.groupkdiagnostics.com.
Okay, pretty simple.
Very simple. We thought it'd be best.
All right. Well, that is at least for me, very encouraging about science and the fact that someone who oftentimes, for my generation, we would say like you're at the very beginning of your career, but to actually come up with an innovation that is applicable and helpful and practical and I suppose disposable at the end of the day.
It is disposable. We actually developed it so that it could be equally used by developed and developing countries.
Yes.
So that there was not only equanimity between the two, but also that it was disposable in multiple different ways and as much as biodegradable as possible.
Yeah, and you raise up a very important point because there are so many people around the world that would benefit from getting an instant result from something like your device, which is basically applied on paper to them, whereby their treatment or the knowledge of whether they have a certain disease or certain issues could be done in a very financially, I believe, effective manner.
So one of our lab techs actually just spent 3 weeks in Ghana with a class from Penn looking at point of care testing in developed countries. So we learned a lot from that, and we're looking forward to expanding as soon as we can.
So what is the experience that you've had here in Philadelphia starting up your biotech company?
Yeah, so if you haven't heard lately, they've been calling Philly Silicon Valley, which I love the name personally, but I think being in an area where there's so many hospitals and so many, names in healthcare that have really had a lot of experience has been really important for us to kind of soak in all of that knowledge and information and opportunity. At the same time, it's had its challenges in finding lab space. As there's not a lot of lab space available for medtech or biotech companies to start up. So that's a problem that Philly's facing, and we're really working to help solve that.
Yeah, certainly a big challenge because, as you said, we're kind of the eds and meds. We have 5 medical universities and the pharmaceuticals and all that, and we're known for that. And yet, if we don't have places where all the people involved can innovate and create, then they go somewhere else.
That's very true. We've seen some companies leave to go to the suburbs or out to San Fran, but we are here to stay in Philly. This is our home. A lot of us are from here, and we intend to stay.
Okay, fantastic. Well, what do you imagine the future of your technology and your company could be?
I would love to see a world where people aren't going to LabCorp and Quest anymore. They're not waiting for results, that they can sit in their doctor's office, get results, and be treated the same day. And that, particularly for my patients in the HIV clinic, a lot of them were, once you take an hour out for your lunch break, you don't have much more time to go to the lab.
Right.
I'd love to see them all getting treatment the same day and having positive features.
Yeah, it certainly seems to be something that would have wide application for children, for seniors. I could think of like Veterans Healthcare, where you could go in, get results.
Definitely, rapid clinics have a huge application for public health, epidemiology, making sure that the flu doesn't spread.
Mm-hmm.
Anything from that to even rapid screening for communicable diseases.
Now, let me ask you this, because just for my listeners. You come up with an innovation, and how do you deal with the intellectual property so that technology is your technology?
It's a great question. So I was a student at Penn when I created my technology, so we worked with an IP lawyer the entire time. Penn has some pretty strict IP rules that are unique to each university. And then after that, all the IP was my own. I assigned it to the company, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, we filed our first non-provisional patent a few days ago, which was very exciting. But you go through the patent process, and the patent office is very fair. It's who's the first to submit and who's the first to get your idea out there, and it's a really honest process.
Okay, well that's great to hear. One of the problems is if you come up with an idea that is something that can have intellectual property, which means it's your property, but you don't do it and someone else does it, well, guess what? That person now has ownership of that property and you do not. And so, intellectual property is such an important thing, because if it's your innovation and you're trying to fund it and see it through and you have the passion and the commitment, if you don't control the ownership, then you can't really control the future of that innovation.
Exactly. It's important to file. It's easy to file. I highly recommend putting in a provisional.
All right. Well, listen, Brianna Wronko, CEO and founder of Group K Diagnostics. If you want to learn more about the innovation, her company, and about her, check them out on groupkdiagnostics.com.
Exactly. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
All right. Well, listen, everybody, stay tuned, because sitting here is Gillie Da Kid, and sitting over there is Wallow267. We're going to take this commercial break, and we shall be right back. Is everything okay? Your volume is right down there. All right, we are back. Listen, we were talking to Brianna Wronko, and in fact, she is still here. She is, of course, the CEO and founder of Group K Diagnostics. A wonderful young lady. She looks very young to me because I'm an older guy. Yeah, very intelligent, right? It's kind of humorous to me because, she looks like a young person. Sounds like a doctor of like 60 years old. But anyway, it's quite the thing. Listen, everybody, I am sitting here with Gillie Da Kid, and he has been in Philadelphia for his entire life, and so he is an icon of the street arts. He is a rapper and now producer and filmmaker and actor. He represents life on the streets. Try, as they say, keeping it real. Now, that sometimes involves a lot of things, right? A lot of cursing, a lot of this, a lot of that. But, listen, hey, we'll talk to him about what he represents. It's just music. Well, let's get into that. And so, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, thanks for being here. Let me start with this. Right now, you have got a number of projects going on, and it's more about film than about music. Is that accurate or is it not?
Well, I have an album coming out called $1 Million Worth of Game 2. I put out $1 Million Worth of Game last year, so I got a kind of a sequel to that coming out.
All right.
But yeah, I have a lot of movies out. I was fortunate enough to do a 10-movie deal with the actor Ving Rhames. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
Oh, sure. I don't know who isn't familiar with Ving Rhames. Yeah,
well,
sure.
so
Favorite of many people.
Right. Shout out to him. He has Mission Impossible coming out with Tom Cruise.
Oh, fantastic.
Soon. I have about 9 movies that I've done with him. And then on the process of me being on the set,
right,
watching and seeing everything that goes down, I decided that I was going to produce my own film called Blood Brother, and you can go check that out right now.
Based in Philly, right?
Yeah, I shot it in Philadelphia, absolutely. A lot of times, the movies that I produce, I would rather prefer to shoot them in Philadelphia because a lot of actresses and actors don't get opportunities around this.
Right, very true. We're a very talent-rich city, but certainly need more platforms.
Absolutely. So, the movies that I produce, I try to shoot them in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I see some of the titles. You just mentioned Blood Brother. Force of Execution. You were in that.
Absolutely.
Now, who starred in that?
Ving Rhames, Danny Trejo, Steven Seagal.
Oh, good. There's 3 names everybody knows, right?
Absolutely. And growing up as a kid, I used to watch Steven Seagal movies, so never did I ever imagine being a kid from North Philadelphia that I would be fighting Steven Seagal at the end of a movie.
Yes.
Like in a main role.
I'm assuming you were the villain.
Yeah, I absolutely was the villain.
He was a good guy, right?
Yeah, he was the good guy.
You provoked him to hurt you.
And that's what he did. He
Yeah.
absolutely did.
Force
exactly
of Execution. Hey, he's a pretty big guy, isn't he?
Yeah, he's about 6'3", maybe 6'4".
Yeah.
Maybe 250.
Yeah, for a keto guy, that's pretty tall.
Yeah, and he's really, really good at what he does.
And then 2010, Caged Animal with Ving Rhames?
Yep, starring myself and another artist from the West Coast who goes by the name of Nipsey Hussle. We both play in the movie as brothers. And that was actually the first movie that I did with Ving.
Wow. And I understand you're very good friends with Ving Rhames.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I brought Ving to Philadelphia. We went up to a few schools, talked to the kids.
Oh, that's nice.
Kids that was kind of locked up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I got a gang prevention called Development Options. It's a gang prevention that me, Ving, and a guy out of the West Coast, L.A. His name's Big U. We go around. We did in L.A., St. Thomas, St. Croix, Dominican Republic, where we go around and we just talk to the kids about gang violence.
Right. Now let me talk about this, because you really started as an artist reflecting life in the streets. And how did that all start? Did you figure, hey, I'm going to be a musician, an artist, or what happened?
Well, actually, it's kind of crazy how I started, because I didn't really never grow up rapping or any of that. I grew up playing basketball. Basketball had got me into college, and just in the process of being in college, being an 18-year-old kid, one of the guys that was on the team, he had like a microphone and some equipment in his room, and we just used to just turn the music on and just start freestyle rapping and falling out, saying any silly stuff, just having fun. And then one day we was like, we all gonna go write something and then come back and record it. And when we came back to record it, I went first, and all of my friends that was in the room was like, "Yo, you never thought about rapping?" I'm like, "Rapping? And listen, I'm a basketball player. Y'all tripping in here. I'm not no rapper."
Right.
And that was 18 years ago.
Wow.
You know, so I was a rapper. Come to find out, and that's how it happened.
So you just found that you had this talent that you didn't know you had.
Yep.
But people recognized it around you. People who were into rap music said,
Absolutely.
"Man, that's really outstanding what
Absolutely.
you're doing."
And it just happened. It honestly happened so quick. The third song that I ever did was #1 here on Power 99
Oh,
on the
get out of
countdown.
here. Wow.
So
That must have been pretty encouraging, right?
yes, it was like, "Mom, I'm dropping out of college." And it was
Well.
like, "For what?" It was like, "Cause I'm one of the hottest rappers in the city." And the whole time my mom's like, "What?" Like, boy, you've never rapped in your life. What are you talking about? And then next thing you know, less than a year later, I had signed a $500,000 deal with Suave House Records, which was a label that was part of Universal Records.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't looked back since then.
Okay. What is it that you bring to your music? Why was your music, why did it catch on so quick? What were you expressing?
I mean, I just felt as though I was, at that time, I was something new, something that Philadelphia really hadn't heard before. You know what I'm saying? So it was like Philadelphia was on a different wave of music, and then I came, and I was on this, like, young, fly, and flashy, and I just think people just gravitated to it.
Mm. Now, you were described in those days as a hardcore rapper, a street rapper, reflecting life in the streets, which typically means the hard life in the streets.
Absolutely.
And so, how does your music connect with your listeners?
I mean, it really just connects because a lot of people went through and are going through the things that I went through. You know, growing up, my father not being around. I'm raised by a single mother who, you know, she lived month to month, so she always was at work, worked 2 jobs. So just by default, it was kind of like the streets raised me because my mother was always at work. You know what I'm saying? So when your mom's always at work, discipline is like, she disciplined me when she's around, but for the most part, she's always at work. So she don't really see the bad and the negative things that I'm doing, and you know what I'm saying? So when I speak about those things, it's so many kids that come from where I come from, who come from broken homes, who come from single parent homes, who come from their parents live month to month. So for them to adapt to what I'm saying that's easy. That's all the ghettos across America. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't hard for them to adapt to what I was saying. It's just, I just have to express it and articulate it in a clever way where they want to listen to it, where it's not like I'm saying the same thing that he said, but I didn't say it in the same way as him. Because rapping is not about what you say, it's about how you say it.
For many people who are critics of rap, especially like street rap, gangster rap, hardcore rap, all the cursing and all that stuff, the threats and all that, what is the good of it? What is the good that comes from, your music connecting with your listeners?
I mean, to me, as an artist, I like and I feel artists that I feel as though I can connect with. I feel like through listening to your music, I almost feel like I know you.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So with the young kids, that's how they want to feel. They want to listen to your music and they want to be somewhere arguing about you, like almost like it's factual, like they know you. Like, what? He wouldn't do that. Like, so that's the power in the music.
Right.
You know, and at the end of the day, we got to understand that it's just music. If you have a kid that comes from the inner city and this is all he knows, what do you expect him to talk about? We only express and we only talk about the things we've seen, the things we've witnessed. the things that we might actually have went through in life. A lot of the things that I rap about, I haven't actually went through in life, but I witnessed it. You know what I'm saying? I witnessed basically a friend grow up in a household with no income coming in.
Right.
He literally had to eat at my house every day as a kid growing up, but had a own house that he went to that was no income coming in. His mom was dead. His dad overdosed. He lived with his grandmom, who was 70 years old, so she sleep every night by 6 o'clock. He can come, go as he please. He can come in the house. He was 12 and could come in the house at 3 in the morning because his grandma would sleep at 6 at night.
Does the music reflect an anger of injustice, anger of condition, of poverty, of having to kind of put yourself out there to stand the test of the brutality of the streets? Is that part of it, or is there more to it?
I mean, I think that's part of it. You know what I'm saying? Because honestly, when you grow up in the inner cities, one of the major places where you hang out at is on the corner. You meet up, it's okay, this is the corner of my block. You meet up, you stand on the corner with the rest of your friends. You may not be involved in the street life. You know what I'm saying? It could be 10 guys on the corner and 2 guys out here are hustling. The other 8 guys are not even involved in the street life. We just hang on the corner because this is my block right here. Like I live, I could walk 100 steps and I'm at my house. But at the same time, when the cops pull up, we all got to get on the wall.
You know, it's interesting. I said this before on the show, but it reminds me of this interview I watched of Tupac Shakur.
Mm-hmm.
And what he said to the interviewer is, he said, basically, it's not that I want to kill anyone, it's I don't want to be killed. And when you're going down the projects and you're going past 80 killers, rapists, burglars, felons, you got to be strapped. And when you get to that door, just so that you're okay, but then the police come in with bulletproof vests, Glocks, shotguns, and because they don't want to get shot, but we're the good guys, but we don't get shot either. But the police don't know us from them, kind of thing. Just reflecting
Absolutely.
that, kind of in an environment where
you're put and you're labeled and tagged as a certain way. Then, what's so crazy is we're the inner city, and you get cops from the suburbs and bring them to the inner city. You would figure that you would get some cops that's from the inner city who grew up in this, so they kind of understand, they can differentiate the difference between them dudes ain't doing nothing. When you bring a guy from the suburbs, you basically, what his method with his book to the streets, his journal to the streets is the news. It was a shooting in North Philadelphia. To him, everybody in North Philadelphia shoots people.
And is that what your music also expresses or touches on?
I mean, it touches on a lot of things. I make music for women. I make music for the younger people. I make music for people from my generation. You know what I'm saying? I try to make, now I make a little bit more conscious music because I'm older.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I do a lot of things that I didn't do when I was young. I go talk to all the kids, and because I know they'll listen to me.
Right.
Because they know that, he's actually been there. The same exact with the cops. Mm-hmm. Like, sometimes you have cops that the whole hood mess with.
Right.
Because it's all about how he perceive us and how he treats us. We had a cop, Officer Grant, that he'll pull up and say, come on, y'all know I'm on shift. I don't want to be an asshole, but y'all got to clear the corner. And it's like, all right, Grant, all right, we gonna walk down the, you feel what I'm saying?
Right.
Then you got cops who just pull up They are, before they even walk up on you, they got their hand on their gun. They talk about turn around. Turn around for what? Why? What did I do wrong? So for a kid who's not selling drugs, it's like, what do you mean turn around? They not trying to hear that. Oh, so now you're being difficult because you're saying, what do I have to turn around for? I haven't done anything. Now it's, don't give me a problem. Wait, what do you mean don't give you a problem? I haven't done anything. But you want me to get on the wall, put my hands up. You want to search me for what? See, that's what we go through every single day. Because 2 out of the 10 people in the neighborhood decided to sell drugs.
Right. So let me do this. We're going to take a commercial break, but when we get back, we're going to finish this conversation with Gillie Da Kid because he's an artist who is connected with the community, the folks listening to him, and he has evolved. As he said, he's gotten older. He's doing some other things. We're going to talk to him about what's different about how he sees things now and how it's reflected in his art, his films, his music, right after this. All right, we are back. I'm here with Gillie Da Kid and Brianna Wronko of Group K Diagnostics. And listen, I'm blind as a bat, so to all my apologies. I thought Wallow was here somewhere, but Wallow267 is not here. However, I wish he was. He has a wonderful story. Check him out on the internet. Wallow, Wallo 267. He did 20 years in the penitentiary, state prison. He came out about a year ago and is just, doing such a fantastic job of spreading a positive message about being productive, working, being positive, chasing your dreams and making them happen. He is a motivational, inspirational speaker. If you want to reach out to him, he's available to come out and speak to your groups. He does a lot of things. You can check him. He's got, I think, 166,000 followers. About 160,000 more than I do. So listen, he's a very popular guy.
He's gotten 160,000 followers in I think 16 months.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
So he's working.
Putting all his positive stuff. So listen, we were talking to Gillie Da Kid, and he was talking about life on the streets and the resentment and frustrations and realities. And then he ended by saying, but I'm older now. And so he does a lot of positive things. Let me ask you, Gillie, what is the difference between you today and you like 15 years ago?
The biggest difference probably is age. When you take a kid from, North Philadelphia, Erie Avenue, grew up in the streets, my past is my past. I've been shot a few times, seen a lot of things, but then the flip side of that, God blessed me to be able to move my mother out of that same ghetto that she lived in, that I grew up in. God blessed me to go to Japan, to go to China, to go to Thailand, Dominican Republic, Paris, Dubai, you name it, I've been there. So the things that I've witnessed and seen with my own eyes, in the life that I've lived now compared to the things that I've seen out of my eyes as a child is totally different. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
do you think more about your impact on people?
Absolutely. See, when you was a young artist and you growing up, your impact on people was that's not even a thought in your mind. You just like, I want to just make good music and tour and make money and move my mom out the ghetto. But then over the course of the years of doing all that, you meet people who, I can't even count how many people that I've met in my life who was like, yo, this song, man, that got me through some times. Oh, so you really start realizing like, I'm really having an impact on people out here. And then you have kids and you watch your kids get older and you just change as a person because you realize that life is a lot more valuable You got a lot more chips invested when you get kids just like this. I'm all in. Like,
right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it just life in general. If you don't change as you get older, if you don't grow, you know, then what are you doing?
Is that the motivation for your camps and bringing, people to talk to kids out here? And
Well, my motivation for my camp is just to, because I'm having a football camp, but I'm also bringing out, I'm going to bring out a lot of football players that are going to be there. A lot of basketball players are going to be there.
hey, before we go any further, tell the folks about your camp.
Okay.
How to find out about it.
August, it's either going to be July 22nd or August the 4th as of right now. It was August 4th initially, but NFL camps go back July 26th. So a lot of the players that I want to be there to, give some inspiration to these kids, to show these kids that I come from here and you can make it out. I've done it. They wouldn't be able to be there. So now we had to, just of 2 days ago, we had to try to, change everything to July 22nd. So it's either going to be July 22nd or if we can't get that date, it's going to be August the 4th. But the reason why I'm throwing the camp is really for underprivileged kids who come from the inner cities who can't afford that $200 to go away to a football camp that they would want to go to. You know what I'm saying? So I figured, let me partner up with Adidas, who
Shout out to Adidas for
shout
doing
out
good
to
stuff.
Adidas,
Yeah.
And let's do 400 kids. Let's give 400 kids a book bag, some socks, a headband, a T-shirt, some sneaks if possible, and just show them that, people out here do care about you, do care about your well-being, do want to see you guys be productive in life, and also to show them, give them inspiration, because I'm going to have rappers there, I'm going to have boxers there, I'm going to have basketball players there, I'm going to have community leaders there. So it's going to be a good amount of different people there to talk to them and just show them some love, because that's what I didn't get growing up. I never got a chance to see somebody that was famous, somebody who was successful, somebody who came from the same place that I came from and actually made it out. I never got to physically be able to touch that person like, yo, they're right here in front of me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to provide that as well as provide a great camp for the kids. And
Where can people find out about the camp? Is there a website or anything like
well,
that?
as soon as we get the tentative date, we're going to go promo crazy.
Okay.
So it'll be on any of my socials. It'll be on, because it's me and it's Wallow. Actually, it's the Gillie and Wallow first annual football skills camp.
Okay.
And it's going to be on all our socials. We'll be running ads on the radio, on both stations. And, we just letting all the parents know that this is free. This is
That's a magic
free
word.
of charge.
Free.
You know what I'm saying? They're gonna get fed well. The Gatorade truck is going to be out there. We also having Jordan Brand pull up. But it's sponsored by Adidas. But Jordan Brand also was willing to pull up, and I guess they have some type of big truck that they have, and they're going to be giving away free product to all the kids as well. So either July 22nd or August 4th, just be looking for that date and make sure you pull up with your kids, and we're going to have a sign-up thing that you have to sign up just to let us know, because every kid is going to get a uniform to wear for that day, some shorts and shirts, so we need the exact size, and so it's going to be a beautiful event that we're throwing.
Sounds like a great thing. Let me ask Brianna, because she's sitting here. You have heard Gillie Da Kid, taking what he has through the creative process. Does any of that resonate with you as you sit here, kind of like coming up with your own innovation in the healthcare field?
I think that creativity can really span a lot of different arts and a lot of different industry, and it starts from the same thing. You see a need, and if you see a need, you got to be creative in figuring out how you're going to fill that need. And you use what you have, and you use the tools at your disposal, and you try and reach as many people as possible and help people. And that's what creativity is for, is to help other people.
Absolutely.
So though music and healthcare might seem like two completely separate things, it really has the same purpose, is to provide people better care, and whether you're caring for your soul or your body, it's just as important.
Yeah, Brianna she goes out to speak to especially young girls about a future in the sciences and things like that, where a lot of young girls don't think about that.
Well, Brianna's out here really saving lives.
I think you are too. It's important to save the soul as
Like,
to save the body.
she's literally really saving lives.
But I think talking to young kids is really important, particularly for girls in STEM. When I started 6 years ago, it was not the most popular field in the world. I was doing a happy dance when I found out the Penn was 30% females in engineering. That was the highest almost in the nation. So I think for us, it's really important. There's a lot of females in our lab that are, engineers, and it's really important for us to go and give back. So next week we're going to the GEMS program at Penn, which is for middle school girls, and just showing them what it's like. You can be a female and be an engineer too.
Absolutely. See, the reason why me and Walla, we go and talk to a lot of the kids, because one thing you can't fool inner city kids at all. Because they're in it. They're living it. So when they get to a certain age, 14, 15, 16, you can't fool them. You can't bring somebody from the suburbs in to talk to them. Because they look right at him and they say, he ain't going through what we went through. That man ain't been through nothing we've been through. We ain't trying to hear that. They start yawning on you. But I know that a lot of them know my story. So even when they Google me, some things are going to come up. So when me and Wallow go talk to them, they're more into it, because they're like, they used to be us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's a little different from when we speaking and I'm like, I've been shot, I've been locked up. Wallows did 20 years. Now, automatically, their attention span is like, whoa. That's why we do it.
Right.
Because we know that even if